Hello guys, so in this video I'm going to share with you the exact email marketing strategy I would use in 2026 if I wanted to make 100k per month from my email list. And by the way, this is the exact strategy my clients have been using to make tens if not hundreds of thousands from their email list. So as you can see, we have Alex who has been able to make close to 100k in cash collected in just 30 days from his 10k subscriber email list. We equally have Deborah that has been struggling to make consistent revenue from her 8k email list. 3 months in, and she's been able to 4x her income. That is, go from 12k per month to 54k per month, as you can see. We equally have Felix, who has been able to make close to 10k with his 3k subscriber email from just his first email after launching his course. So, by the way, these are the results from a single email. Like, he's made 10k from one email. Crazy. We equally have Anthony, who has been able to generate 82,000 in sales from selling his $67 course on how to make passive income online. So as you can see, guys, this strategy has proven itself to work over and over. And here I am sharing it with you for free. Crazy. So without wasting so much time, let's dive into the actual strategy. Now, the first thing I want to precise here is this strategy is meant mainly for organic traffic. And so you don't want to use this for your paid traffic. That is traffic you get from social ads. Else it's not gonna work. Like, I'm probably gonna make another video where I break down another strategy for paid traffic, but let's focus right now on organic traffic, okay? So as you can see, here are your traffic sources, right? That is your social media platforms. We have Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and TikTok. It could be more or less based on the platforms you're actually leveraging. Now, our goal is to take as much traffic from here and send it to an automation software or an automation bot. Now, how do you get to do that? You do that through a lead magnet, okay? Now, you realize a lot of content creators right now, what they do is they will usually post content, right? Provide value. And at the end of their video or their carousel, they usually say something like, comment a certain keyword to get my ebook or my guide or a course, whatever, right? And that's exactly what we want to do here. And as soon as users comment, usually an automated reply is triggered in pair with a DM, and it's actually in the DM where the lead magnet is delivered. And so, coming to the automation softwares themselves, if you're using Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, right, I recommend you use ManyChat because ManyChat is the official automation software for these three platforms. Then, if you're using LinkedIn, I recommend you use Expandy or Dripify. But from my experience, I think Expandy is better. Okay. So, coming to the actual DM where the lead magnet is delivered, there's a mistake a lot of business owners make here, and which is a lot of business directly send the link to their lead magnet. Meaning, let's say they are promoting a course, for example, in the form of a video, a free course, in the form of a YouTube video, right? What they will do is they will directly send the link to their lead magnet to users, which is a major problem because yes, the user is going to watch the video and consume the value, right? But how are you going to convert the user on your email list? Because the user has just watched your video, but he hasn't gotten on your email list, which is a very big problem because you can't just be giving value or lead magnets without converting people on your list. And so what you instead want to do is you want to send users. Well, the first thing you want to do first is place your lead magnet behind a landing page, right? Then you want to send these users to your landing page. And when they do that on your landing page, they will have to submit their information like their personal name and their email address. Their email address more importantly, okay? And as soon as they've submitted that, they are automatically signed up on your email list, right? And obviously, as they are signed up on your email list, okay, they start receiving your newsletter or your daily emails, right? Now, another point is as soon as they are signed up on your email list, okay, a welcome sequence is automatically triggered. And a welcome sequence includes a series of emails, each email having a specific function. Now, let's get to email one, for example. Email one is what I call the lead magnet delivery email. Now, in email one, you want to deliver on your promise. You want to actually hand that ebook or that checklist or that course you've promised, okay? And so that's basically what email one is all about. Now, 10 seconds after email one has been sent or triggered, okay, email two should be sent. And email two is known as the welcome email. Now, in email two, you want to let users know they've not just received your lead magnet, but they will equally start receiving what your newsletter or your daily emails. And equally, you equally want to set expectations, right? You equally want to tell them the type of content or the type of topic you're going to talk in your emails and how often you're going to email them. So that's basically what email two is all about. And you realize email one and email two are sent on day one. That is the actual day on which the user signs up to your email list. Now, this leads us to day two or to email three. And day two is actually the day after email one and email two have been sent. Now, email three. Now, at this point, there's a mistake a lot of business owners actually make. Meaning, a lot of business owners send their lead magnet, right? And they completely forget about it, which is a very big problem because what you need to understand is people are busy, okay? And so people will take your lead magnet, but they are not going to watch that video, they're not going to read that ebook for the mere reason they are busy. And this is where email 3 comes into place to remind them or to follow up on that lead magnet you actually sent. And so, what you want to do here is you want to make sure users have actually consumed your lead magnet. And if they haven't done, you prompt them to actually go and do it. And so that's because if users don't consume your lead magnet, right, they are not going to get the value they need to get out of it. And if they don't get the value they need to get out of it, what happens? They never take the action you want them to take after they've consumed that lead magnet, which is a very big problem. So that's basically what email 3 is all about. You want to remind them they need to consume your lead magnet. And there's actually another aspect of email 3, which is education. Now, what do I mean by education? You want to tell users the best possible way in which they could use your lead magnet so they could get the most value out of it. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you've sent them free social media templates, right? Now, you want to educate them on how they could best leverage those social media templates so they could get even more engagement on their post. So that's basically what email 3 is all about. Follow up and education. Okay. Now, which this leads us to email 4, which is sent on day 3. That is the day after email 3 has been sent. Okay. Now, on email 4 basically has the same function as email 3. That is follow up and education. You still want to follow up and give them some tips on how they could best leverage your lead magnet. But the only difference here is at the end of email 4, you have what I call a tease of your low ticket offer, meaning you want to inform users about a potential offer they could get value from. Okay, like, don't make the mistake of pitching your low ticket offer in email 4. No, you simply want to inform them and build their curiosity about your offer. Okay, so that's basic. So it's a tease, right? Okay, so that's basically what email 4 is all about. This leads us to email 5, which is sent on day 4. That is the day after email 4 has been sent. Now, email 5 is simply where you will want to pitch your lower ticket offer. Remember, we've already teased them about our offer. Now, in email 5, we want to actually pitch that offer. Okay, so email 5 is basically a sales email. And obviously, at the end of email 5, we have what I call a CTA, a call to action, right? And our call to action will lead us with, or will how will I say, will send users to a landing or a sales page. That is the page you are actually selling the offer on, right? And as soon as users land on the landing page, okay, what happens? Some users might buy and some might not. Now, let's take the case where a user doesn't buy the product. He is simply redirected to email 6 of your welcome sequence. So if a user doesn't buy, right, email 6 is sent to the user the day after email 5 has been sent. That is on day 5. I don't know if you're with me. So now, what is email 6? Email 6 is basically a second pitch of your lower ticket offer. Okay, so it's basically a follow up, if I could say it that way, right? And but the only difference is in email 6, you want to use a case study. That is the story of a client. So you want to leverage storytelling in email 6. Now, why will you want to leverage storytelling? Because what you need to understand is humans love stories, okay? And so someone will be more inclined to buy your product if he or she sees another person who was in the same situation as him, who actually bought your product and gotten the results. So that's why you want to leverage storytelling. It's very powerful. And obviously, at the end of email 6, we have a CTA, right? Because it's still a sales email which redirects users way to your landing page or your sales page. And now back to your landing page, some users might buy, some might not. Now, the ones who do not are simply redirected to email 7 of our welcome sequence. Okay. And email 7 occurs on day 6, that is a day after email 6 has been sent. Now, email 7 is another follow-up, if I could say it that way. Email 7 is basically a third pitch of your low ticket offer. And in email 7, you want to leverage testimonials and an urgency or scarcity factor. So email 7, it's like a last call, right? It's like a last call. And yeah, at the end of email 7, you obviously have a CTA which will redirect users way to your landing or your sales page. Now, coming here, some might buy, some might not. The one who do not, right, simply miss the opportunity, because remember, in email 7, we are leveraging an urgency or a scarcity factor, and so there's obviously some sort of an opportunity to get on, or if you don't get on it, you simply miss it. So users who don't buy simply miss, and later in the future, you could follow up. Okay, you could still sell that offer in the future, but they literally miss the opportunity. Now, let's get to the situation where a user buys. Now, what you need to understand is, if a user buys, he could buy from email 5, email 6, or email 7, but it doesn't matter. The most important thing is that he buys. Now, what happens when a user buys? The first thing that happens is a tag is triggered. Now, for those of you who don't know what a tag is basically a tool which helps you to segment your list on your email marketing platform. And why are we using this? Because we want to know the people who actually bought our product. Because without a tag, we can't identify those people, and so we want to leverage tagging, okay, or segmentation, to know who are the ones who bought our product. That's why a tag is triggered here. Now, as soon as a tag is triggered, we equally have what? An onboarding sequence of our low ticket product that is triggered, because as soon as they buy, we obviously have an onboarding sequence, right? And as you can see, instantly the first email of our onboarding sequence is sent, right? And after this is sent, the next day we have the second email of our onboarding sequence that is equally sent. And basically, what these emails are all about, they are all about education. They are all about educating our users, okay, or buyers, on how they could best leverage the product they actually bought. So that's basically what our onboarding sequence is all about. Now, equally, as soon as they buy, right, you realize they are redirected to another landing page, which is basically the landing page for an upsell. That is our middle ticket offer. And so what you want to note here is this. Okay, this part here is what occurs in the back end. This is the invisible part of the iceberg here, because the user can't see, but what the user actually sees is this, because he's redirected where, as soon as he purchases our low ticket product, right, he's redirected to another landing page, which is basically an upsell or a middle ticket offer. Now, a middle ticket offer is simply an offer that has a higher price point than our low ticket offer. So that's basically what a middle ticket offer is. So it's directed to a landing page for an upsell. Now, getting to this landing page, obviously there are some buyers of our low ticket offer which might buy and some which might not. Now let's take the case of a user who doesn't buy our middle ticket offer. There's an upsell follow-up sequence that is triggered 2 days after he hasn't bought our upsell, or 2 days after he bought our low ticket offer. Do you understand the point I'm trying to make here? So this follow-up sequence, okay, is triggered 2 days after. Now, why is it triggered 2 days after? Remember, we have our onboarding sequence that is triggered instantly as he buys, okay? And so we have email one of this onboarding sequence that is triggered the day he buys, the day he actually buys the low ticket offer, right? Now, the following day, which is 2 days, the following day, right, which is one day after he has bought our low ticket offer, we have the second email of our onboarding sequence that is triggered. Okay, and so we want this follow-up sequence to start immediately after this sequence right up here has ended, which is why this sequence starts 2 days after the low ticket offer has been bought, or 2 days after he hasn't bought the middle ticket offer. Okay, so I hope you're getting the point I'm trying to make here. It's quite it sounds complicated, okay, but it's very simple. So yeah, this sequence is triggered 2 days after all of this has occurred, right? And so we have email one of our sequence that is triggered 2 days later, and the next day, that is the following day, we have email two of our sequence. Then the next day we equally have email three of our sequence. Now, I won't dive into the actual content of these emails, but basically these emails are follow-ups, and so you want to leverage things like testimonials, case studies, and an urgency or a scarcity factor, okay? And as you can see in email one, right, users are redirected to our landing page because they are follow-up emails, remember. And so our goal is to sell them our middle ticket offer. So users here are redirected to a landing page, and here some might buy, some might not. The ones who do not are simply redirected to email two of our follow-up sequence, okay? And equally coming here, some users are redirected to the landing page, right? Some might buy, some might not. The ones who do not continue through email three of our sequence, getting to email three, they are still redirected to the landing or sales page. Here, some might buy, some might not. The ones who do not simply miss the opportunity. And again, in the future, you could still sell them this offer. You just need some nurturing and a very good process to actually convert them later. But right now, they literally miss the opportunity of buying this product. Okay. And so let's get into the case of the buyer of the user who actually buys this middle ticket offer. Now, you need to take note of something. When a user buys, right, he could buy this product directly from directly here. Okay, so after he has bought the low ticket offer, right, he could buy it immediately after he has bought the low ticket offer, or he could buy it from one follow-up sequence, or from email one of our follow-up sequence, from email two of our follow-up sequence, or from email three of our follow-up sequence. It doesn't matter. As soon as he buys, the same thing happens. Okay, and so what happens when a user buys, right? We have a tag, a second tag is triggered. Okay, and why is this tag triggered? Because we want to know the people who bought our low ticket offer, but equally the people who actually bought our middle ticket offer. Because at this point, we only know the people who bought our low ticket offer, and so we equally want to know the ones who bought the middle ticket offer. That's why another tag is triggered. Okay, Then as soon as the tag is triggered, we have an onboarding sequence that is equally triggered. And this onboarding sequence is for the upsell, right? Because we equally want an onboarding sequence for our middle ticket offer. And so instantly, as this tag is triggered, email one is sent of our onboarding sequence. Now, the next day, we equally have email two of our onboarding sequence. Then the next day, we equally have another email which I usually call a nurture email. Now, why do I call this a nurture email? Because in this email, right, you want to provide value. Now, the value is basically about solving the major problems users might have encountered in the course of consuming your middle ticket offer. So that's basically what this nurture email is all about. Now, at the end of this nurture email, you equally want to do what I call a tease of your high ticket offer. So usually for most of my clients, their high ticket offer is usually a one-on-one coaching call. Okay, it's usually a one-on-one coaching call, and so yours could be a mastermind. It depends, but at the end, you basically want to do a tease of your high ticket offer. Remember again, a tease is not about pitching. You're simply informing users about a high ticket offer which they could get value from. Okay, so you're building curiosity, right? Now, 2 days after you've sent the nurture email, okay, you want to send them another email, which is basically a pitch of your high ticket offer. Now, why do I say 2 days after? Remember, users have just bought our low ticket offer and our middle ticket offer, and so the last thing you'd want to do is to overwhelm them. Because if you immediately start pitching your high ticket offer, okay, you kind of overwhelm them because they haven't even gotten the time to digest your low ticket offer and your middle ticket offer. And so you need to give them that time, which is why we have a delay of 2 days here. But equally, you don't want to wait too long, like 5 days or 4 days, because if you wait too long, what happens? Users get cold. And so you want to pitch them your product when they are still hot, when they still have the dopamine, okay? And so you want to find the perfect timing, or the perfect timing to pitch your high ticket product. And in my experience, I find a 2 days delay or even 3 days optimal as the timing. Okay, so let's get into the pitch. Now, in this email, you basically want to to leverage their pain points. You basically want to talk about their pain points, or the pain points they are still encountering even after they've consumed your low ticket and your middle ticket offer. Because what you need to understand here is your low ticket, your middle ticket, and on your your low and your higher ticket offer are linked. Okay, they are linked in some way, and so this email is basically about talking about the pain points they are still encountering even after they've consumed your low ticket and your middle ticket offer. Now, this email it's a sales email, right? And so you obviously redirect users way to a booking page, because for most of the time you will want to get users you will you will want to get users on a sales call before setting your high ticket one-on-one coaching program. It's true in some cases. I've seen in some cases where coaches don't necessarily need to get on a sales call with users again, because they've already gotten the proof, okay? They've already gotten the experience, and so users trust them. But in your case, or most of the time, you want to get them on a sales call, right? And talking of booking softwares, okay, there are a lot of booking softwares out here, but the three I'll recommend you are Calendly, Call, and Acuity. I think these are the best booking softwares you would want to use. Okay, so yeah, as soon as users get on the booking page, okay, some might book a call, some might not book a call, right? And so what you and so let's take the case of a user who doesn't book a call, right? He simply continues through our sequence, and so he's redirected way to to the following, like, what is the 1 2 3 4 5? Okay, so he's redirected to email 5 of our sequence. Okay, and email 5 of our sequence is simply what is simply a second pitch of our higher ticket product, of our higher ticket offer. Okay, and here obviously you still want to leverage storytelling. That is a case study. You want to pitch your product or your offer in the form of a story, right? And this email is sent in one day after this email has been sent. Okay, and in this email you obviously have a CTA again because it's a sales email, remember. So you redirect users to the booking page, and to the booking page some might book, some might not. Now in the case a user doesn't book a call, he still continues through our sequence. I think, yeah, he continues through the sequence, which is where he continues to email 6 of our sequence, and email 6 is sent one day after email 5 has been sent, right? And email 6 is basically a third pitch of our high ticket offer. So it's like a follow-up. It's a follow-up. And here you want to leverage results and testimonials and an urgency or scarcity factor. And here you still redirect users to a booking page. And here some might book, some might not. Okay. And so the ones who do not book simply miss on that opportunity. And again, in the future, you could still get them to buy. Okay. It doesn't really matter, okay, because you could still convert them in the future. They just need some further nurturing. Okay, now let's take now the case where a user books a call. Okay, let's take the case where a user books a call. He's obviously redirected to a confirmation page, and on this page you simply want to include the next step, like the next steps or the steps the user needs to take before he actually gets on a call with you, right? Now, usually users here are prompted to check their email inbox, and as soon as they are redirected to a confirmation page, right, in the back end there are two sequences that are triggered simultaneously. Now let's get to the first sequence. The first sequence is basically a reminder sequence. Now this reminder sequence is basically a set of emails that are triggered some hours or some days before the user gets on a call with you, and usually this sequence is triggered by your booking software or by your booking platform, and so you're not the one to take care of this sequence. Now let's get to the second sequence here. This sequence is what I call a post, like a pre-call, sequence, or a pre-warm sequence. Now in this sequence you basically want to provide value, or you basically want to warm up users before they get on a call with you. Now on the first email is simply a confirmation, right? Simply here you simply include some details about your call, like the call link or the date and the time at which the call is going to take place. Now the next day or some hours after this email has been sent, you want to send email 2. Now email 2 is basically a value email. In email 2 you basically want to provide value, okay, which is you want to tackle some problems or some questions users might be facing. Okay, you want to answer them in email 2, so you want to provide them value. And the goal of email 2 is simply to make users know, or to reassure users about the decision they've actually made. Like you want to let them know they've actually taken the right decision in booking a call with you, right? So that's basically what email 2 is all about. Now, the next day or some few hours after email 2 has been sent, you want to send them a third email, which is email 3. And in email 3, you simply want to leverage case studies and testimonials. And here again, you want to reassure users once more they've actually taken the right decision, okay, in booking a call with you. Now, what is the ultimate goal of these two sequences? The ultimate goal is to boost your show ups as much as possible. Like you want users to show up to the call, okay? And the best way in order to make them show up to the call is by first of all reminding them about the call, because people get busy and so they might forget. And equally, you want to provide as much value and as much testimonials to them to reassure them about their decision. So that's basically how you get people to show up to your calls, okay? And so guys, so that's basically what this strategy is all about. So let's just make a quick recap of what the strategy is all about. So the strategy starts with you leveraging traffic sources, right, and sending them to an automation software. Then later on, these automation software sends them to a landing page, right, where they submit their credentials. Getting to the landing page, they as soon as they submit their credentials, they are obviously signed on your email list and they start receiving your newsletter or daily emails. Now, as soon as that is done, a welcome sequence is triggered, each sequence having a specific goal, right? And so here is our sequence. And getting to email 5, you have a pitch of your low ticket offer, which redirects users to a landing or a sales page, right? And here, some users might buy, some might not. The users who do not buy, they are gotten on email 6, which redirects them back to the landing or sales page. Some might buy, some might not. The ones who do not are redirected way to email 7. Then email 7 redirects these same users to the landing or the sales page, where some might buy and some might not. Now, in the case of the ones who do not buy, in the case of the one to buy, right, a tag is triggered. And as soon as a tag is triggered, we have an onboarding sequence of our low ticket offer that's equally triggered at the instant. Now, and remember this occurs in the back end. Now, what occurs in the front end, that is the what the user actually sees. Users are redirected to an upsell page. And here, some might buy our middle ticket offer and some might not. The ones who do not are simply sent through a follow-up sequence, right? 2 days later. Now, the ones who do buy, a tag is triggered, a second tag is triggered, right? And as soon as the tag is triggered, they are sent to an onboarding sequence of our upsell of our middle ticket offer, right? And so they follow through the sequence and getting to this email or to the feed email, right? This is where we actually make a pitch of our high ticket product or our high ticket offer, which is usually a coaching program. Then these users are sent to the booking page where some might book a course, some might not. The ones who do not keep moving through the sequence, right? They are still redirected back here. Some might book, some might not. The ones who do not book, they continue through our sequence, right? And getting here, some they are redirected to the booking page where some might buy and some might not. Now getting to the case where a user books a call, right? He's redirected to a confirmation page. Then, as soon as he leaves the confirmation page, these two email sequences are triggered basically to boost show up rates. Guys, that's basically what this strategy is all about. And yes, I know this might look complex in the back end, right? But I can assure you that if you are able to implement this within your business, then email marketing becomes exceedingly simple. Do you understand? And truth be told, this isn't some magic scheme which you're just gonna plug in and make tons of money with. Like, you need to be quite good at email marketing in order to actually make this work. And so, because at the end of the day, you could have the entire strategy, right? Like I just gave you. But there are tips and tricks and frameworks used to craft these emails. And I want to make myself clear. I'm not talking of some standard templates in which you're just gonna plug in some variables. Okay. Like like this, like it doesn't work that way. It doesn't just work that way. Like these things are so nuanced. Meaning what might work for me, right, might not work for you. Or what might work in my industry might not work for you. And right now, I know you're probably asking yourself, who the fuck is this guy, right? To be telling me all of this. So my name is Boris, and for the past months, I've been helping business owners scale their business with email marketing. And so if you want me to implement this within your business, click the link in the description and let's see if you're a right fit. See you in the next video.